Hi guys, it's Thursday. I don't know about you. I definitely just sang that. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this week has just like flown by. I had some things planned this week that I needed to take care of, and was actually gonna have a little, what would you call it? Like a, not really a Zoom, but I don't know, had a FaceTime call that I was going to do this week with a friend of mine, and she messaged me yesterday and she was like, "It's Wednesday. Hello, where are you?" And I'm like, I didn't even realize like the week is just flying by. So here we are again. I feel like we were just together not too long ago. So this project for today is flirty and fun and fabulous and just a fiesta for your ears, right? That's kind of what I wanted to name this project, but I didn't because I was like, it's kind of cheesy and corny, but you know me. I'm all cheesy and all corn. So I don't know if you guys noticed. Hi, everybody. Before I get any further in here, just want to say hey, Debbie, hey, Joan, hey, Jane. Hi, everyone. So glad to see you guys. How has your week been going by? Mine is just like in the blink of an eye. Gone, right? Gone, completely gone. So that means I have a lot of things to do today. Anyway, so today's project, I don't know if you guys saw, yesterday was What's New Wednesday, and What's New Wednesday never disappoints. You guys, brand new boho beads were just released and they are gorgeous. They're always gorgeous. You get your boho beads in pairs, which is fabulous, so that you can either make two complete pieces of jewelry around them or you can turn them into earrings. And that's what we're going to do with ours today. We're going to turn ours into some fun earrings. And earrings, why do I pick earrings? You guys know. I pick earrings because you very easily can turn it into a pendant. And so it's like double duty, right? We're making hoops. And words are escaping me this morning. I'm sorry. We're making some hoop earrings with our awesome boho beads, but we're also going to incorporate some seed beads. So that being said, it's kind of a nice little hint into what is to come later today. So not only are you going to get a project from me with some boho beads and some seed beads, but you're also going to get a second project this afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern with me, Sarah James, and Meredith Roddy, and we are also working with these boho beads and some seed beads, all from Jessie James Beads. So all good things. You're getting a double dose today, which is always fun and a great way to kind of get over the Thursday hump into Friday. I know the hump is usually on Wednesday, but I got to tell you, I feel it on Thursday more than I do on Wednesdays. All right, so before we get going though, definitely want to just mention the weekly deals. 10% off specialty beads with a $29 cart. Let me make sure I've got these right. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I have so many notes, sometimes it's hard to keep up, so I apologize, but thank you for putting up with my scatterbrainness this morning. The second one is buy 3, get 1 free on Beadalon, and the coupon code for that is Findings. That's a great one. They're all good, you guys. And then last but not least is a free clasp mystery assortment with a $39 cart, and the best coupon code ever for that is clasp baby, and you have to kind of dance when you say that one. Okay, so let's get to it, you guys. Let me show you the earring first, okay? And you tell me how you feel about it. I think it's fun. It's so fun, right? So hoop earrings are very, very popular every year. But this year in particular, this summer, I should say, colored hoops are everywhere. And so we don't necessarily set stones ourselves, but we've got plenty of gorgeous Jessie James beads to work with. So we're gonna kind of do our own little take on some awesome, colorful hoop earrings. Everybody says, I like your necklace because it's shiny like crazy. So let me tell you about, you guys know we did these earrings as a project. These are check glass from Jessie James Beads. These are also Jessie James Beads, just so you know. There are some Swarovski bicones in between here, but these are this really beautiful Jessie James bead that I found in like different places. Like I've been hoarding these for a while. It's a really beautiful glass bead that's blue, but it has like this purple shimmer to it. And so every time I see them in a mix or I find them on a strand, or I kind of hoard them. So I've been saving them up until I had enough to make a whole necklace. And so now I can wear a whole necklace. So I'm showing off my sparkly JJB today. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's do it, shall we? All right, first and foremost, let's look at some of the gorgeous bohos. So I don't have all of the bohos, but I do have quite a few of them, and I'm going to show you which ones it is that I have. I'm going to pull up the website here so I can tell you what the names are. So for our project today, we're going to use these. One of them, as you saw, was already in an earring, but this is the mate to it. And this is Tangerine. Such a beautiful, bold orange. So good for summer, right? I'm loving this bright pops of color for summertime. Because sometimes it changes, right? Not every summer, the trends are not always like bright pops of color. So we're lucky this year. Very, very lucky. Okay, these ones are Glacier Adventure. A beautiful white that you can incorporate in so many different ways. You can use this as your focal and then build some pops of color all around it, or you could go with a stark white design and it would be absolutely beautiful. These are so pretty, so pretty. And then there is Royal Blue, which is one of my favorite shades of blue. I actually have this color on today. I love a good royal or navy blue. Just really, really pretty stuff. Okay, let's see what else we got. We have Hidden Treasure, which are these, which is this beautiful deep pink. It's okay. You don't apologize, Maggie. We love you. We want you to come in no matter when you get here. All right, and then we have Lilac Breeze. These are one of my favorites. I love this purple color and the combination of the purple with that brassy gold, and it's almost a pink kind of gold to it. It's just such a beautiful combination. Really, really love that. And then Pearlized Pink. These are always some of my favorites too. There are two of these. So this one is the pink set in Pearlized Pink, but then there's a Pearlized Blue too, which are so pretty. And I almost used these for our earrings today, but the orange was just really kind of calling my name. So we went with the orange, but these are gorgeous. Pink Sugar. I love these. They look like they've been dipped in sugar. So good. You could eat them. Please don't. You'll break your teeth. I mean, I don't have to say that, but you guys, you never know. You might be having a bad day and have your M&Ms out on your desk and get them mixed up. You never know. Lunar Eclipse are the black ones. I love the black. They're always classy. They dress up absolutely any design for sure. And then we have Blue Sugar, which is also, whoa, gorgeous. Also look edible. Don't mix those up with your candy, guys. Oh, the things that come out of my mouth. I'm telling you. Fresh Peaches. This is such a beautiful, beautiful color. So pretty. A peachy pink. And then Blueberry Twist, which I adore, right? So good. They're just so good. All right, so that is all of the ones that I have, but I got to tell you, there are other ones that have that mother of pearl all over them. There are some purple ones and some blue ones in some different colors. They're just absolutely gorgeous. So if you've not had a chance to see the new bohos, go over to Jesse James Beads when we are done here and take a look at all of the new boho pairs that are available, because there is one that is screaming your name right now. I just know it. I just know it, just like the orange ones were talking to me yesterday. All right, so speaking of the orange ones, let's get to our project. So what we're going to be using today are some of the Toho seed beads that are also available over on jessejamesbeads.com, and they are the Firecracker mix, which they're 11O seed beads, and there's this dark shade of orange, kind of like a more of a tangerine orange, and then this bright yellow. I thought these would go together really well with our beautiful orange boho. This is where we're going. I'm going to show you how to get there. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is you are going to need a piece of 18 gauge wire, and I'd say about 6 inches is going to be plenty for this. I clearly have way more than 6 inches of this, but I feel like at this point in our relationship, I don't have to tell you that anymore. But you are going to need something. I'm using the Artistic Wire Mandrel. You can use anything that you've got to give you a round shape if you need that. I believe we're using the second from the bottom. So we're going to use the 25 millimeter, which is really kind of the easiest to find. If you don't have a Mandrel, one of these around, normally like a prescription bottle or, you know, those great big, huge black permanent markers that you use to make yard sale signs? Those are normally about 25 millimeters around. So whatever you've got, if you don't have one of these awesome tools, though I do highly recommend it because it is a good one. So I'm just going to come in with my 18 gauge wire and my chain nose pliers, and I'm just going to make a little bend here. I like to get a good bend on the wire so that I don't have to do it later. Okay, so then I sit the bend on the mandrel, right? And then I just kind of hold my thumb on it to hold the wire up against the mandrel, and then take that tail and wrap it all the way around, bring it up here to where we have that little bend in the wire. Kind of hard for you to see, but Wanda says candy corn mix. Exactly. It is a really good candy corn mix. All right, so bringing that up here, you can see I've got my little tail. I'm going to go ahead and do the wrap before I even take the wire off of the tool. This I find is just the best way to keep that circle shape. So I'm just very slowly wrapping around this straight section of wire here, and 2 or 3 times we'll get it. Doesn't have to be a ton. Okay, 3 good wraps and you're good to go. I'm going to pop that off of the tool, and we have a perfect little hoop here. And I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and go ahead and trim off that tail because we don't need that guy. Okay, now because we're using 18 gauge wire, I am going to put this on the block and work harden it with my nylon hammer, just really quickly. Don't need a whole lot. If you don't want to do any work hardening at all, you can use 16 gauge wire for this. Just remember that the 16 gauge wire is a little bit harder to work with. You have to use some elbow grease. Oh, Katie says she got her new JJB order today. That is exciting, isn't it? It's so much fun to get beads in the mail. All right, so just a little work hardening, just some extra insurance for that. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but we want to be sure that we have a good loop that's not going to warm up in our fingers and kind of come out of shape. Okay, so I'm gonna wait and add the boho bead at the end. So for the time being, we've just got this stick up here at the top that we're just gonna kind of hold on to, and we're gonna do the wire wrapping around the edge. Guys, this is really easy. I think you'll see this earring is going to work up pretty quickly, so you can very quickly put together this set of earrings in, I would say, less than an hour. Okay, even if your wire work is not the greatest, you're still going to be able to get this together pretty quickly. So I'm taking about 2 feet of 24 gauge wire. You're really only going to need about 20 inches. Probably have way more than that on mine. I am going to just lay this across the top of my little circle hoop component here, give myself about 1.5 inches of a tail, okay? And then I just want to take that tail and anchor our 24 gauge wire to our component and give it about 3 good wraps. And if your wraps are not close together, you can always come in with your chain nose pliers and squish them together and put them exactly where you want them to be. Now, the little tail here, I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna cut that off until the very end. I'm gonna hold on to that as I hold on to this straight section of the wire as well, okay? So now I'm gonna take this long piece of the wire, and my wire is going in a clockwise direction, so it's coming up from the bottom and going out this direction. So the next wrap around is going to go this way. Okay, I'm just staying in that clockwise motion even after I add the beads. So depending on which direction you're going, just keep going the flow, you know, of how your wire is traveling. Don't change it up. Don't try to make it so that they're both over the top of the component, if that makes sense. Okay. All right, so Now we're going to add some beads to this. So I'm just using the end of my 24 gauge wire as a needle. And I want all of these beautiful orange colors and the yellow. So I'm going to use one of the dark oranges, I'm going to move this boho, one of the light oranges, a yellow right in the center, and then we're going back to the lighter orange and finishing with the darker orange. Okay, so we have 5 little beads on our wire. I'm going to drop those down to the surface of our component, and with my fingers, and the first couple of these may not be the prettiest, but that's okay, okay? With my fingers, I want to kind of guide that into an arch. And you do have to guide it into the arch. It's not going to do it on its own, but it's such a small little movement, it will start to naturally just kind of go into that little arch. The first ones have a funny little bend in them, but as you get going, they do start to make a really pretty arch. I don't know why it is, but it just, the first couple never look as good as the rest. All right, so notice that my wire is going to the back of the component because it was coming across the top, right? So I'm just continuing to follow the path of the wire wrap as if I were wrapping without any beads, okay? So that wire is coming to the back, and I'm just going to pull it through the loop, and I want to wrap about 2 times, okay, all the way around, and then back up to the front, okay? So now my wire is coming back up, going across the front of the component, and we've got our little arch here with our beautiful little seed beads. Okay, now one thing you're going to notice is that you can adjust your arches by squeezing your wire wraps together. So if you want more or you want less, you can very easily just kind of squeeze or pull apart each one of your little arches of beads, okay? Which is going to be important when we get to the end, because you may feel like you're crowded and you don't have enough room to get that one more in there, but we'll be able to kind of squish and adjust all of the other ones around, okay? So we're just going to continue with this pattern, and that's why I say this is going to work up pretty quickly. We're just going to add our seed beads, which is really kind of the slowest part, and we're going to just continue with the exact same pattern, and we're just going to put those little arches all along the outside of our component. So there are our 5 beads. I'm going to drop those down. Uh-oh. Without making a big mess. Okay, so there are my beads. Very carefully just going to kind of guide that wire into an arch shape, holding it with my finger. Okay, I'm holding it with my non-dominant hand, holding those beads in shape, holding it in place as I take my dominant hand to do the wire wrapping. And I want to hold my finger there at least until I get one wrap around, and then I can kind of let go, and I don't have to worry that it's going to come out of its little shape. But you definitely want to take some extra care and hold on with your fingers. Okay. Kathy says, is that 14 gauge wire? It is not. It is 18 gauge wire for the component, and then we're using 24 gauge for our little wire wraps. Okay, so there are 2. You can do this with 14, but that's a sturdy wire. You're going to have to make allowances for your loop. If you use a 25 millimeter mandrel size with the 14 gauge, you're probably going to want to go up and make allowances for that thicker wire for sure. But definitely can be done. I mean, you can use whatever gauge you want to use. I wouldn't go any smaller than 18 though. All right, so just putting on our little bead pattern again. And guys, there are some really beautiful seed bead mixes over on the Jessie James Beads website. So if orange is not really calling your name, you can find a seed bead mix that is going to match any of the boho pairs, which is awesome. All right, so there is number 3, just kind of guiding it into that little arch shape. You can see I do that really slow just to make sure that I'm getting the shape that I want, holding it in place with my fingers, and then doing the wraps. So I want 2 wraps, and then I come back up for what would be a 3rd wrap, but we're not going all the way around. So when we get to that position for the 3rd wrap, that's when we're going to add the beads to this. Okay, hey April from Philly, one of my favorite cities ever. It's funny, when people find out that I live in Tennessee, they're like, "Oh, Nashville, such a great city. Do you love it?" And I'm like, "It's okay." But people from, you know, people from Philadelphia are like, "Oh, I love Nashville." People that are around Nashville, "I love Philadelphia." Like Nashville could fit in Philadelphia's pocket. Love Philadelphia. All right, so making my arch. And then wrapping around. Okay, so we've got 4. And guys, there's no set number of how many of these little arches. Actually, I guess they're more like little petals, really. There's really no set number of how many of these are going to go around. It's just however many will fit, right? And you can adjust your beads. You can use your little seed beads and then maybe add a check glass bead where that yellow bead is. You can really change this up. It doesn't have to be done with seed beads at all. If you're going to use bigger beads than say a 4mm bead for that middle bead, then you definitely probably, wow, that makes no sense. You probably want to make your component a little bit bigger to accommodate a bigger bead. Or you can make it even smaller. And that's the great thing about the seed beads is if this component is too big for you, but you still like this design, you can make a smaller component, right? You can just, and particularly with that Mandrel, the Artistic Wire Mandrel tool, you've got a lot of options when it comes to the size that you want to make your component. So you can really adjust this to your liking for sure. I like a big earring, but not everybody likes a big earring. So you can make it smaller and still use the seed beads. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay. And now if you need to kind of squish them around, you can. You can tighten them up, squish them closer together, pull them further apart. It really is just up to you as to how you want this to look. I saw something that said Love Mail. Sarah was talking about Love Mail Week. Yes, so how many of you have signed up for the Love Mail and are working on that? You guys have until Monday to get your packages shipped. It is Monday, I think, is the last day for shipping. I'm not sure. Pretty sure. It's the 13th. I don't know what day that falls on. Isn't it? I say that. Let me look at my notes. I don't like to say things that are not quite right. I believe it's the 13th. I'm excited. I'm excited. Been working away on my Love Mail gift. Thank you, Kathy. Monday, the 13th is Monday. My birthday is a week from Sunday, you guys. Can you believe it? Well, of course you can believe it because I just said it, but technically, I don't guess technically, if you start counting your weeks on Sunday, then my birthday isn't next week. But I don't count my weeks that way. It's on the 19th. A week from Sunday. But that's why I'm so excited for the Love Mail, because it's like an extra little birthday. A birthday fun, right? Going around, we're getting closer here. Party time. I don't know how much partying we'll be doing since we're all still trying to be socially distanced. I'll probably have a Zoom with some of my family, but that will likely be the extent of it. I'm not super thrilled about this birthday. I'm 1 year away from the birthday that I dread the most, so last year wasn't too bad, but I'm like inching my way to 40, and I'm not really feeling it, you guys. I'll be 39 this year. I'm not super thrilled. But you know what? I still feel 20. Except when I get up in the mornings. My body doesn't exactly agree with me, but you know. All right, getting close. We've just got a couple more to go. Robin says she got hers already. It's fun. She wants to do it again. I have a feeling that we will do it again. It really is such a fun concept to have like a jewelry pen pal, if you will. It is so fun to get things in the mail. It is so cool to appreciate each other's work in person. And it also kind of helps to build connections with people, right? So it's not just about the jewelry. We're hoping, I think the goal for the program is not only are you getting something really cool and you're showing off your techniques for using your Jesse James beads, but you're building some friendships within the Secret Stash group that maybe you find something in common with somebody that maybe you never talked to before. And I think that part of it is so cool, you know, to be making connections, because maybe you post on the group but you don't really know anybody. It's a great way to kind of open the doors of communication, you know, because we all need each other, right? We're all at home. Most of us are. When we go out, it's just for quick outings, and the Secret Stash group is just such a wonderful place to make friends. And so I think that was really the driving force behind the love mail, you know, share some love, make some friends. Such a needed thing in the world. All right, so it looks like I've got room for one more. Now, if you were to get up to this point and it looked like you didn't have room for one more of those little arches, you very easily can adjust just each little grouping of your beads. Just come in with your fingers. You don't even need to use your tool to do it, and just kind of squeeze them together a little bit more, and you will be able to make room for your last little bit. So even if you end like right in here, which is the halfway between this space that I've got, you still can scooch everything over a little bit and you'll have room, okay? Don't be afraid to move those around. You're not going to mess them up. All right, so we're going to do one more. And then we'll talk about some of the other possibilities with this design, because this is really just kind of the base that you could go even further with this if you wanted to. All right, so there's my last arch or petal, whatever you want to call it. And I am going to have to squeeze mine over just a little bit just so that I can get all of the wire wraps in there that I need. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to come to the back and I'm going to trim off my tail. I had way more wire than I needed as usual. And then this one that was at the beginning, I could go ahead and trim it off too. And then I'm going to come in with my pliers and I just want to give those a squeeze. Want to be sure that they're not sticking up. I don't want them to get caught on hair or clothing or anything like that, because this 24 gauge wire has a tendency, if you get it caught on just one little snag of clothing, it tends to undo itself. I don't know why. I think it's just because it is a little bit softer than some of the others. So definitely want to go in there and squeeze that down, make sure that you don't have any pieces sticking up. Okay, trim off as close as you can possibly go. All right, so we're going to add our boho bead to this, but before we do that, let's just take a look at what is possible here, because there are other things that are possible. Everybody says candy corn and Halloween. You know, maybe I subconsciously made a pair of Halloween earrings just because I love Halloween so much, but I really and truly was thinking summertime. Like, it's like a fiesta. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, so let's talk about, before we finish this up, let's talk about what you can do. So you absolutely can make sure that you've got one of these little arches down here at the bottom that is exactly in the middle, and you can hang something from it, right? You can add a charm, a dangle, a tassel, a little beaded dangle right here in the middle if you wanted to. Not only that, but not just in the middle, you could come around and add dangles to even more of these, right? So you could go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These 6 along the bottom, you could hang something and have a tiered look. Pieces of chain reaction would look amazing hanging, you know, just some little tiered pieces would look awesome. So that is a possibility. Also a possibility is to build this up another level. Now this would be more of a kind of an advanced intermediate. I wouldn't say it's advanced, but an intermediate step would be, after you have added all of your beads, actually, if you want to go up a row with all of these arches, instead of doing 5 beads, you want to do 4 beads and leave this middle section where that yellow bead is open. So you've got a really small little space of wire here, okay? So you'd have 2 beads, a little gap of wire, and 2 beads in your arch. You would use that little spacing to do a whole nother row of your arches in between each one of these. Do you see what I mean? So let's just say we had, hold on, just for instance, just in case, because I don't want to show it to you because I don't want to mess it up, but I do want to just like give you like a, so here's your component and you've got your little arches going all the way around. So you would wire wrap right here in the top of that first one and make an arch between these two. Wire wrap here and make an arch between these two. Okay, my drawing is terrible, but you get the idea, right? So you can actually build this entire little wire wrapped section up and do several rows of this. The only thing that you have to do differently is you have to allow for the wire wraps. So that is why you would leave out that middle bead. Okay, so that's a fun idea as well. The next idea would be to add something hanging from the middle here. So instead of finishing with these top 2 arches, you could leave the 2 arches out on the very top and use that excess wire to hang something here in the middle. Some more of your Jesse James beads. I even thought it would be cool to have your boho, have a boho on the top and then hang a boho in the middle. How fun would that be? So a lot of options here, right? So many different things you can do with just this one design that I showed you. You can really take this to the next level and turn it into whatever you want to. And again, you can adjust the size on this as well. If this is way too big for you, go down. Don't make it nearly as big. Come down on your Mandrel tool and make it one of the smaller loops, right? And you can still use your seed beads, you can still make your little loops here, and you can still add your boho bead if you wanted to. Second, or not second, but last option is to turn the whole thing upside down, okay? And put your boho on the bottom. And there's a couple of different ways that you could do that, but having your boho on the bottom and your component up here on the top just means that your ear wire would be up here instead. So you definitely can do a lot of different things with this. You could even do a loop at the bottom of your boho and hang something else, right? So lots of different things you can think about with just this one design, which is always my goal. I want to give you as many options as possible. So hope I've given you some food for thought and some inspiration to take this design and do whatever speaks to you, right? Definitely want to add that awesome boho though. I feel like the boho really just makes the piece. Okay, so for the top of the earring, for this one, I didn't do a wrapped loop. I just did a simple loop. So that's what we're going to do so that the two match. But if you've got plenty of wire, there's definitely plenty of wire here to do a wrapped loop if you want to, but I'm just going to keep it simple. So I'm just bending my wire, and then I'm going to come in with my cutter tool and trim off, just leaving myself enough, about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 of an inch. Make sure that I have enough to create a simple loop. So I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and grab the tail end of that wire, and then I'm just going to roll back this direction to make my little loop. And my loops, you guys, my simple loops are never the prettiest. Like this one didn't. Just not a fan of this one. I'm going to trim off some of that wire, see if I can get it a little closer. I don't like just regular loops. I don't know, they've never been, they always are kind of off to the side. But I tell you what, once you add the ear wire to it, nobody's going to notice. It really makes no difference. It's just a personal thing. I really struggle with simple loops for whatever reason. All right, so now the last thing we need to do is add our ear wire. You can use whatever ear wire you are comfortable with using. I'm just going to take one of these that I made in advance and add it to it, and ta-da, we have a fiesta. That's it. I don't know, something about it just says, you know, it's a party. These are party earrings. Afternoon, evening party. It does look like the sun. It absolutely does. I think that's why I feel that way about it. It's like, you know, late in the day in the summer, sun might start to be, or the sun may be starting to go down, and those are the colors that you've got. All right, guys, I'm going to turn you around. We're going to put these on. You are so right. Wanda says simple loops are not correctly named for sure. I would agree 110%. They have never been simple for me, ever. Wrapped loops all the way, says Trisha. I agree. I agree for sure. All right, so let's swap out our blue for our orange. These are definitely not going to match my necklace, but that's okay. We don't care. We don't have to match. Joan says a really cheery set of earrings. I agree. These are friendly and happy and come talk to me earrings. 6 feet away. Come talk to me. Stay 6 feet away. Aren't they fun? I think they are so much fun, and I can envision these in every single color of the bohos that there are. So all of those new bohos, you could achieve this exact same look with, you know, some different colored bohos and a mix of different colored seed beads. I think they're so much fun, and we're definitely staying with the trend of the colorful hoop earrings. We're just doing it our way, right? Nobody says there's just one set way that you have to create a hoop earring. As long as you've got the hoop and the color, then you're definitely staying on trend. I can see these in a craft booth for sure, or on your Etsy site, or wherever you happen to be selling your jewelry. They will definitely be a crowd pleaser. So, all right, you guys, that is it for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope that I gave you some inspiration that you can take and run with, as always. I will see you guys again today. So set your reminders, 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be me, Sarah James, and Meredith Roddy. We're going to be together to put together another fun project using some seed beads and these boho beads. And guys, I do want to mention, just in case you want to do a little shopping ahead of time, that we are going to be using the Beadalon Spin and Bead, and that guy is available over on the Jessie James Beads website. It's the very first item that comes up. So if you're interested in getting a spin and bead to use with your seed beads, now is the time to get it. There are a handful of them that are available. Grab them with your bohos, and Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So get all your stuff together. We're going to be doing something super fun. Cannot wait to see you guys. And then of course you can join me tomorrow at 1 p.m. on Sarah Ellis Designs, and I will have another fun project for you. So you can see me 3 more times before the weekend, or no, 2 more times before the weekend if you want to. Otherwise, I will see you guys again, same time, same place next week. Bye guys.